If you're really young, I really don't think you're going to understand this episode. But if you're a little bit older, like 24 and up, I feel like it'll make sense. There's this super intense, I don't even want to say it's a moment because it wasn't a moment, but there's like a series of events, at least in my life, where I came to understand that I was no longer a child. And I know it sounds crazy because you're 18 and you kind of move out and do your own thing, you're not a child anymore. But for me, everything started when I turned 23. Well, honestly, I think it started around 22. After you turn 21, it's the first time in your life where there really isn't anything, there's nothing next, right? Aside from renting a car. And 22 wasn't that crazy because, okay, cool. I made it past 21. But then when I turned 23, I think that's when I really started to understand that I was going to continue to grow old. I'm going to be old one day. One day, I'm going to be this old man, hopefully, right? But I still can't envision myself like that, but I had never really, I guess, understood that. And I didn't understand that because one would think you do, right? You're a child, you grow up, you're a grandpa, and then you just die. But when I was a kid, it was as if I was invincible. I was never gonna die. Everyone else is gonna die but me. Everything is, like I'm in this magic world and the world is different, and that's not my normal, that's your normal. I'm different. But I'm not. I mean, I am, but I'm not. We're not. We're all the exact same. We came out of something, and then we grow up, and then we die. And I just had never really thought about that. And when I turned 23, that was the very first moment in my life that it really sank in. You're old, bud. You're not old, but you're going to get older. And it's crazy because of the environment I was in, living in Los Angeles at the time. I'm surrounded by 18-year-old millionaires and like heiresses to kingdoms and all kinds of crazy stuff. So it's really easy to reflect that energy onto yourself and see yourself as old and wasted away. I had even somewhat convinced myself that like physically I couldn't be where I was when I was 18. When that's insane. I'm 24. Oh my goodness, so dramatic. But that comes with the conversation that realizing you're no longer a child can be pretty intense. It like really shook me up. It really had me at a standstill. I think that was one of the second most major moments in my life that I had to really stop and pay attention to what I was feeling. I typically can go through the chaos of life really unforgiving and just tackle through, but I couldn't at that time. I just couldn't. I think maybe because I was in a situation where I felt comfortable that I could lay some of that weight onto someone else, but that's not a long-term solution, you guys. Putting your emotions and burdens onto someone else and expecting them to fix it for you, that is not a long-term solution. That isn't really much of an active solution, honestly, because what's the resolution? They just distract you. They're going to distract you. They're going to say nice things, and then you're going to feel different. But how does that help you acknowledge anything? How does that help you grow as a human? How does that anything? It doesn't. For me, it really didn't. It just kept me latched onto someone, constantly depending on them to relieve this pressure off myself. And I had convinced myself that because I have always been strong and can relieve the pressure off myself, that I could do it if I wanted to. It's so heavy right now, right? And it's nice to have someone there for you. But no, you guys, we have to really be there. I was understanding that my childhood was over. It wasn't even coming to an end. It was over. I think typically we rush out of being a child. All of us, we tend to want to grow up really fast. But I had I dealt with a lot of losses. My grandmother passed away. My grandfather passed away. A few other people passed away. watching people get sick with cancer, sibling, like there's so many things that I went through at such a young age, and it's not until reflecting on it now that I understand that was a lot. Like, Ramona, be so much nicer to yourself. We, I guess, forget sometimes, or we just, we don't want to remember those negative experiences in our life, but we experience them and we pass them. The older you get, is increasingly clearer how immensely shaped your life is depending on the people you surround yourself with. Growing up, we make a lot of bad decisions. Even as adults, we make so many bad decisions, but environment is everything. I'm not privileged with abnormally wealthy family members or parents or anything, so I kind of have to fund my life and my lifestyle and everything that I want to do and pursue, and that's the way I've been living for the past few years. I say that because when I'm faced with obstacles that are financially heavy, I've never ran back home. I have yet to go back to my mom's house, not because I have problems with them at all, but because, again, environment is everything. Understanding I'm not a kid, I can't just beg my family to help me pay something or have them all put money. I can't just expect anybody to go out of their way to that extent. Period. Because what? Like, I'm a full-grown adult, even if I was just 23. That's an adult. You can drink. You can go wherever you want. You're an adult. You're grown. And you're still relying on other people. I think it's great if you have that support. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But if you can't support yourself, like, I don't know, that's just scary to me. I was in that position once where I kind of lost my living situation and I couldn't support myself. And I really understood then, I'm not a kid. I should have a savings. I should be working more consistently. Like, I should understand that I'm going to be on this planet for a very long time and natural disasters happen. Like, I'm not in a simulation. I'm not 13. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't my parents dealing with this anymore. It's me. I have to deal with these things. And that's intense. I was so depressed when I really accepted that, because, oh my goodness, what? You're telling me just like that it's all over? I mean, the depression still lingers. That's the way I was thinking. I was like, just like that, it's all over. Everything that is your childhood, your parents, your family, these experiences, it's all over. But that's not true. It's not all over. First of all, I'm young. I can continue to craft the memories. I continue to craft and build memories with my family. It's just hard because you're not, we miss being young and being in these positions. I mean, to an extent. It was just nice to exist in a world with no responsibility aside from your passions. I can't relate to that. If you live in that world, congratulations. Great. But me personally, I don't live in that world. I used to, and I think maybe that was a big portion of where my emotions came from, because I had to do everything, and having to do everything takes in work, and I'm a very ambitious person, so scheduling everything at the same time for years and years, it's just exhausting, right? But I think that goes to emphasize how important perspective is, because I woke up this morning telling myself, you get to wake up this morning at 5 a.m. Although you don't want to, you get to. You get to wake up and make a fresh cup of coffee that's of quality and sit down and drink it in peace in your own apartment. What? That's perspective versus being like, oh, I have to get up, I need my coffee. You know what I mean? Like, of course you're going to be like that. Look at how you're acting. But if you shift the perspective a little more and, give more of a pleasant experience to life, it's a lot more pleasant. It makes you want to get up. So it still doesn't make it easy all the time. Don't get it twisted. But there is a pleasant aspect of adulthood. It's just, for me, the transition of 22 to 24 was rough and unforgiving. The environment I was in, aside from just the person I was dating, No, all of it was insane. It was just absolutely horrid. And it's crazy because you think that when you're all children, you grow up and you grow in all these things, right? And you become a better person. But the world is not like that. Everyone is not a good person. And I didn't think everyone was a good person. I just thought that most people have red flags. I know that probably sounds awful to hear, but I just thought, I'm sure I have a red flag. There's no way. There's no way. And I'm a green flag. Yeah, I'm literally, but I consider myself a very green flag. But I just know that every single person I've dated probably has different red flags. Or honestly, I'm pretty consistent. So they probably have the same red flags. Nonetheless, they have red flags about me. Yeah, we all have red flags. I just thought we all had red flags. So when I meet my friends and when I get close to people, I think to myself, okay, you're a little arrogant, but you're sweet. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you're kind of rude, but I'll just call you out and be like, girl, don't fucking say that. And I will. Like, I'm like, you're being rude. Don't fucking do that. And then usually they won't. They'll stop. But then I'm assuming that they're going on in the world and behaving in this way, when in reality, they're probably not. They're just doing that around me because they know I'm going to be like, girl, why did you yell at that barista? Because what the fuck? Why would you go yell at that barista? Same thing with the person I was dating. They would make comments on other people's appearance. And I'd be like, why would you say that? Why would you? I remember he literally said that somebody, was of lesser value. He couldn't understand why this girl was with this guy because apparently the girl was ugly. And to me, I was shook. I remember being like, that is so fucking rude. Why would you say that? That's just insane to me. But people do think like that. People do walk around the world like that. People are complete fucking idiots, arrogant, snooty assholes, the worst kinds of any individual you will ever meet. And they will smile in your face and ask how your day's been. They're around us. But no, seriously, they're around us. And it's crazy because you're just trying to make a good impact and you're trying to treat people well and, be vulnerable and allow people into this space. And then you allow people into this space and you're like, what the hell? You're fake. What? Why don't you just tell me? Why don't we just have this mutual, you know what I mean? Why don't we just mind our fucking business and not be fake to each other? But unfortunately, that is not the way the world goes. And that is part of accepting you're not a fucking kid. You can't just walk up and punch someone in the face anymore. You can't be just super dramatic, especially now working in the industry. That's why I completely just moved away from LA because I was like, honestly, I can't. I'm gonna start a riot and I don't want to start a riot. So I need to get out and I need to heal. I need to focus on myself because we're not kids anymore. You have to maintain healthy relationships. You have to maintain a healthy image. I mean, I'm human. I'm going to be honest about the things I'm going through, but I can't get in a bar fight. You know what I mean? I can, but I shouldn't. So I'm not going to put myself in a situation in which I will. But when you're a kid, who cares? Pull up. You know what I mean? At least that was me as a kid. I'm very, it's there, if we're doing what we're doing, we got to get to it. In conclusion, to wrap up today's episode, I think it's really beautiful to have made it out of being a child. I think there is definitely a lot of trauma that we individually carry, some heavier than others. Please tend to that trauma, not only because of how you reflect the energy out to the world, but you deserve to be healed. You deserve to feel good. You deserve to feel safe inside of your own body. And it's really hard if you don't acknowledge and, work on that, whatever that looks like to each individual. I know it's really upsetting sometimes growing up, but that's just the way that it is. I think the one thing that makes me feel a little bit better is that everything is irrelevant. Honestly, myself, everything, and not in my day-to-day life, but I'm saying in the grand scheme of the universe, in my opinion, Everything gets old, everything will perish, including planet Earth, including the solar system. Just enjoy your life and really live unforgivingly. If you dream it, achieve it, work for it every single day. Every single day. Don't ever allow yourself that I'm busy stop you from it. If you guys knew what my schedule looked like, and the crazy thing is that I tell myself every day I was not as productive as I could have been because I wasn't. I know that today I lost time doing tasks that I shouldn't have been doing instead of just doing this. Now I feel as though the sun has gone down. It's not exactly as to what I would have wanted, but that's the reality, you know? Like, I'm not perfect. Wake up every single day and experience life. Stop to smell the roses. I know it's such a cliche, but it's true, you guys. What is life but an accumulation of experiences that you cannot take with you? So why not have them now, you know? Thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode. Thank you guys for listening to today's episode. Please send me any questions, any suggestions, any tips that you guys may have. My socials and emails are the same thing at any email. I check everything. Have a great day. I'll see you guys next Tuesday.